Ivy-clad walls: A history of American entrepreneurs. Have you ever wondered where the modern American corporation came from? AT&T was Alexander Graham Bell's company. General Electric was Thomas Edison's company. Westinghouse was George Westinghouse's company. J.P. Morgan was the investment bank of J.P. Morgan. United States Steel was Andrew Carnegie's steel company. Chevron and Exxon were derived from Standard Oil, which was owned by John D. Rockefeller. Ford Motor Company was owned by Henry Ford. Alexander Graham Bell was born in Scotland in 1847. The first word on the telephone were, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." Bell and Thomas Watson invented the telephone on March 10, 1876. When he tried to sell his patent to the Western Union Telegraph Company, this is what they said: "Mr. Hurlbut and Bell want to install one of their telephone devices in every city. The idea is simply idiotic on the face of it. Furthermore, why would any person want to use this ungainly and impractical device when they can send a messenger to the telegraph office and have a clear written message sent to any large city in the United States?" This is what Bell had to say to the Western Union. Sometimes we stare so long at the door that is closing that we see too late the one that is open. Thomas Edison was born in 1847. Edison built the invention factory of Menlo Park. Edison's lab produced the phonograph and the motion picture cameras. When he died in 1931, he held more than 1,000 patents. Thomas Edison said this: "The three greatest essentials to achieve anything worthwhile are: first, hard work; second, stick-to-itiveness; third, common sense." Thomas Edison also said this: "Nearly every man who develops an idea works it up to the point where it looks impossible, and then he gets discouraged. That is no place to become discouraged." George Westinghouse was born in 1846. He invented the air brakes for trains. He used the waters of Niagara Falls to power an alternating current generating system in 1895. He paid Nikola Tesla $1 million for the patents to the alternating current motor and related equipment. J.P. Morgan, born in 1837 and educated in Europe. In 1871, he joined with partners to form an investment banking firm. In 1901, he purchased Andrew Carnegie Steel and other smaller steel companies to create the first billion-dollar corporation, U.S. Steel. Andrew Carnegie, born in 1835 in Scotland. In 1848, when he was 12, he came to the United States. He received little formal education. His steel-making factory opened in 1875 in Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh. He also wrote The Gospel of Wealth, inspiring other rich men to be philanthropists. He said this: "Think of yourself as on the threshold of unparalleled success. A whole, clear, glorious life lays before you. Achieve, achieve." John D. Rockefeller was born in 1839. By 1879, Standard Oil controlled 90% of oil production. He fully controlled the production and transportation of refined petroleum. He said this: "If you want to succeed, you should strike out on new paths rather than travel the worn path of accepted success." Henry Ford was born in 1863. At the age of 16, he moved to Detroit, Michigan, where he was an engineer at the Edison Illumination Company. In 1903, Ford started the Ford Motor Company. The assembly line allowed Ford to reduce the amount of time it took to build a car from 12.5 hours in 1912 to 1.5 hours in 1914. The assembly line allowed Ford of the Model T from $550 in 1914 to $440 in 1915 and to $290 in 1924. Wages on the assembly line were $5 a day, a very good wage back then.